Hello, good morning students. How are you? I hope you are good. Well, fine. Enjoying your health, right? So at the same time, you are supposed to enjoy your regular academics as well. Okay, students? So myself, Rajesh Dadich, your mentor in English from Shivjyoti Educational Group, Kota. Today, we are going to discuss one more chapter and from your woven book, and this is What is a Good Book, written by John Ruskin, who was a great critic of the 19th century, and he was very famous and renowned writer for his great works. Okay, students, so in this chapter John Ruskin is discussing about the qualities and features of a good book. In what sense can we call a particular book good book? Okay, so let's have. Canal, a large number of people. Peerage, a kind of title. Fame means pleased to do something under an arrangement, and national noblesse of words. Some national importance, good words, right? So here, have a look. We are going to learn what really a good book is. The good book of the hour means of the time. Then I don't speak of the bad ones. Right now I'm talking about the qualities of a good book, not the bad ones. Is simply the useful or pleasant talk of some person whom you cannot otherwise converse with, printed for you. A good book is always printed because this is not possible for the writer to converse with each and every reader. Very useful, often telling you what you need to know. Very pleasant, often as a sensible friend's present talk would be. These bright accounts of travels, good humored and witty discussions of question, lively or pathetic storytelling in the form of novel, right? Firm fact telling by the real agents concerned in the events of passing history. So students, good qualities of a good book have been mentioned. All these books of the hour, of the time, multiplying among us as education becomes more general, are peculiar, means strange characteristic and position of the present age. We ought to be entirely thankful for them and entirely ashamed of ourselves if we make no good use of these good books. If we are not able to avail the presence of the good books, we are to blame. But we make the worst possible use if we allow them to usurp, means snatch away the place of true books. Because strictly speaking, they are not books at all, but merely letters or newspapers in good print. Bad books are just like newsprints and good letters only. They cannot be called good books. Our friends' letters may be delightful for time being or necessary today, whether worth keeping or not is to be considered. The newspaper may be entirely proper for breakfast time, but assuredly it is not reading for all day, just like that. But a good book is worth reading any time of the day. So, though bound up in a volume, the long letter which gives you so pleasant an account of the inns and roads and weather last year at such a place, or which tells you that amusing story or gives you the real circumstances of such and such events, however valuable for occasional reference, may not be in the real sense of the word. A book at all, nor in the real sense to be read. A book is essentially not a talk thing, but a written thing, and written not with the view of more communication, but of permanence, not for communication only, but forever. The book of talk is printed only because its author cannot speak to thousands of people at once. We have already read that. So now it has been given the features of a good book. Now to continue with that, the author has something to say which he perceives to be true and useful. Okay, he wants to say something which perceives to be true and useful or helpfully beautiful. So far as he knows, no one has yet said it. So far as he knows, no one else can say it. He is bound to say it clearly and melodiously, if he may, clearly at all events. In the sum of his life, he finds this to be thing or group of things manifest to him. This is the piece of true knowledge or sight, which his share of sunshine and earth has permitted him to seize. He would feign means he would agree to do something happily, willingly, ready to do something, set it down forever, engrave it on a rock. Engrave means to write something on rocks or stone. I ate and drank and slept and loved and hated. Like that his writing, it is in his small human way and with whatever degree of true inspiration is in him, his inscription or scripture, that is a book. Okay, perhaps you think no books were ever so written, means you may be thinking such kind of books have never been written, but you are mistaken. But again, I ask you, do you at all believe in honesty or at all in kindness? Or do you think there is never any honesty or benevolence, kindness in wise people? None of us, I hope, are so unhappy as to think that. Everybody willingly thinks that benevolence, honesty, kindness are still present. Well, whatever bit of a wise man's work is honestly and benevolently done, that bit is his book or his piece of art. It is mixed always with evil fragments or ill done, redundant, affected work. But if you read rightly, you will easily discover the true bits, and those are the book. Okay, these are the features. Now, books of this kind have been written in all ages. So, students, it has been given such kind of books have been written in all ages, no matter what age is going on, but every time this kind of books are also present, measured and mapped out this short life and its possibilities. Do you know, if you read this, that you cannot read that what you lose today you cannot gain tomorrow. This is true. What you have lost today you cannot gain it back tomorrow. Will you go and gossip with your housemaid or your stable boy when you may talk with queens and kings? Would you like to utilize your time with while talking with these, gossiping with these housemaid or stable boy? Okay, so that you jostle with the common crowd of entry there, an audience there, when all the while this eternal court is open to you, with its society wide as the world, multitudinous as its days, the chosen and the mighty of every place and time. Into that you may enter always, in that you may take fellowship and rank according to your wish. From that, once entered into it, you can never be outcast, but by your own fault, by your aristocracy of companionship there. Your own inherent aristocracy will be assuredly tested, and the motives with which you strive to take high place in the society of the living measured as to all the truth and sincerity that are in them, by the place you desire to take in this company of the dead. The place you desire and the place you fit yourself for. I must say, because observe, this court of the past differs from all living aristocracy in this. It is open to labor and to merit, but to nothing else. No wealth will bribe, no name will overawe, no artifice will deceive the guardian of those Elysian gates. In the deep sense, no vile or vulgar person ever enters there. At the priorities of that silent Faubourg Saint-Germain, there is but brief question. One important question to be discussed, students. Have a look. Do you deserve to enter? Do you deserve to enter the real pages of good book? Past, do you ask to be the companion of the nobles? Do you long for the conversation of the wise? Do you desire to have a conversation with the wise people, or do you want to spend your time while reading the book, or you may call it a good book? No, if you will not rise to us, we cannot stoop to you. Stoop means bend down. If you cannot come to us, we are also not ready to come to you. The living Lord may assume courtesy. The living philosopher explain his thought to you with considerable pain. But here we neither feign nor interpret. You must rise to the level of your thoughts if you would be gladdened by them. Means you yourself will have to make initiative. Nobody is going to make an initiative to you until or unless you make it first. And share our feelings if you would recognize our presence. This then is what you have to do, students. This is what you are expected to do, and I admit that it is much. You must, in a word, love these people if you are. You must love these people if you are to be among them. Means if we want to be the part of crowd, first of all we will love. We should start loving the people, then only we can be the integral part of the crowd. No ambition is of any use. They scorn your ambition, no matter how much ambitious you are, but if you are not ready to be the part of the crowd, it's of no use. You must love them and show your love by a true desire to be taught by them and to enter their thoughts, to enter into theirs, observe, not to find your own expressed by them. If the person who wrote the book is not wiser than you need not read that. Read that or read it. If he be, he will think differently from you in many respects. Means psychology and thinkings and differences of thoughts are everywhere. Very ready we are to say of a book, how good this is. That is exactly what I think. But the right feeling is how strange that is. I never thought of that before, and yet I see it is true. Or if I do not now, I hope I shall someday I shall do it. But whether thus submissively or not, at least be sure that you go to the author to get at his meaning, not to find yours. Means if you really want to find the real meaning of what the author wants to say, you yourself will have to go to him and ask with his own perception, not your own perception, because your own perception, what you want to read, is not important. Okay, but ascertain it first and be sure also if the author is worth anything, that you will get at his meaning all at once. Nay, no, that at his whole meaning you will not for a long time arrive in any wise. Note that he does not say what he means, and in strong words too. But he cannot say it all, and what is more strange, will not be in a hidden way and in parables. Parables means stories that have been transferred from generation to generation. Okay, parables, in order that he may be sure you want it. I cannot quite see the reason for this, nor analyze that cruel reticence in the chest of wise men, which makes them always hide their deeper thoughts. They do not give it to you by way of help, but of reward. No help is rendered, but deeper thoughts are rendered in the form of rewards, and will make themselves sure that you deserve it before they allow you to reach it. But it is the same with the physical type of wisdom. Gold means wisdom is just like gold, and gold is not abstract, but that is a physical object. There seems to you and me, means students, wisdom is abstract but gold is physical. There seems to you and me no reason why the electric forces of the earth should not carry whatever there is of gold within it at once to the mountain tops, so that kings and people might know that all the gold they could get was there, and without any trouble of digging or anxiety or chance of waste of time. Cut it away and coin as much as they needed. But nature does not manage it so. Nature puts it in a little fissures in the earth, deep inside, or depth. Deep holes in the earth means fissures, nobody knows where. where gold is found. First of all, we have to dig, and then only when we are digging deep, then only we are finding gold. Exactly in the same way, students, first of all, we have to go much and much depth of the book, then only we can get the real meaning, real gold like valuable meaning of the book, what the writer wants to express through. You will and you may dig along and find none, and sometimes so happens that you, despite your deep digging, you are not able to find any gold. Exactly in the same way, despite your deep reading of the book, you are not getting satisfaction like gold. Nobody knows where. You may dig long and find none. You must dig painfully to find any, but still keep on digging and keep on reading, and one day you will surely find. And it is just the same with man's best wisdom. When you come to a good book, you must ask yourself, am I inclined to work as an Australian miner would? Means, should I read much and much deeper, exactly as the Australian miners are doing their work in the mine to dig out gold. So exactly in the same way, we should also go much deeper inside to find out gold like valuable concept or thoughts or message from the writer. Are my pickaxes and shovels, these are some tools, students, to dig out something, but here gold is going on, so to dig out gold, these are some tools. In good order, and am I in good trim myself? My sleeves well up to the elbow, and my breath good, and my temper. Means these are some prerequisites for the miners capable of doing work in the mines. Exactly, some qualities of good readers are also required to be a good reader. And keeping the figure a little longer, even at the cost of tiresomeness, means tiredness, because it is a thoroughly useful one, the matter you are in search of being the author's mind or meaning. As the miners are in search of expensive or costly or rare metals to be dug out, exactly the readers are also to seek the writer or the author's real message lying hidden, as gold or metals are lying hidden in the crust of the earth. And your pickaxes are your own care, wit and learning. And what are your tools of good reading book? And they are your own care, means with that much interest, wisdom and learning ability, you must read the book, then only you will dig out gold like important and valuable message. Your smelting furnace is your own thoughtful soul. As the metal is purified in the furnace, exactly in the same way, if you really want to if you really want to purify the thoughts you are getting from the book, first of all you will have to introspect what you have learnt. Do not hope to get at any good author's meaning without these tools. These are some required tools to get a good reading. And that fire, often you will, fire means zeal and zest. As fire is required to purify metal, exactly that same fire of zeal is required to get to the real meaning lying hidden in the book on different pages, just like phases of life. Often you will need sharpest, finest chiseling. With the help of chisel, when we are engraving something on the stone, that is chiseling, and patientest fussing before you can gather one grain of metal. And therefore, first of all, I tell you earnestly and authoritatively, I know I am right in this. Means the author is saying authoritatively, means with authority, as far as I know. You must get into the habit of looking intensely at words, means just try to get the proper meaning the author wants to express. Sometimes, students, sometimes so happens that the author wants to say something and the words in real are telling something else. So you have to find the real difference, what is lying hidden as a message or the moral of the writer's chapter or book. Later by letter. For thought, it is only by reason of the opposition of letters in the function of signs to sounds in the function of science that the study of books is called literature. Sign by sign, function by function, letters by letters, different A, B, C, D alphabet letters are there. So accordingly, with sound, pronunciation, sound, correct sound, syllables, dialects, accents, we have to read. Not simply we are going through, but we have to know, we have to learn how to make a proper and good reading without any flaw. Flawlessly we should read. That only will be known as literature. And that a man versed in it is called by the consent of nations a man of letters. And such kind of person only who knows everything how to make a good reading of a good book is known as the man of letters. Okay, students, you might read all the books in the British Museum if you could live long enough. This is not possible to read all the books kept in the museum and remain an utterly illiterate, because reading and learning has no age. So the more you are learning, the more incomplete you will be feeling, because this is not possible to make a complete reading. Illiterate or uneducated person, but that if you read 10 pages of a good book letter by letter, that is to say with real accuracy, you are forever more in some measure with an educated person. Means if you are reading unimportant, if you are reading insignificant books, you can say you will remain illiterate or uneducated. But if you are reading merely first 10 pages of a good book with perfection, letter by letter, word by word, with accuracy, if you are reading, then only you can say that you are just an educated person. But whatever language he knows precisely whatever word he pronounces. He means reader. He pronounces rightly, above all, he is learned in the peerage of words. Means then only this is just a title of valuable person, valuable good reader. So then only you will be given this title if you are reading each and every letter perfectly with correct pronunciation and accuracy. Okay, knows the words of true descent and ancient blood at a glance from words to modern canal. A large number of people remembers all their ancestry, their intermarriages, distantest relationships, and the extent to which they were admitted, and offices they held among the national nobles of words at any time and in any country. But an uneducated person may know by memory any number of languages and talk them all, and yet truly not know a word of any. Means who is really an uneducated person? We are not calling a person educated who is simply speaking of himself, boasting high of himself that he knows how to speak, how to read these and these languages. But when real time comes to check him, he falls flat and is not able to express himself perfectly in any proper language. Not a word even of his own. An ordinarily clever and sensible, intelligent person, seaman, will be able to make his way ashore. Seamen means people who are working as crew on ships, right? Will be able to make his way ashore at most ports, yet he has only to speak a sentence of any language to be known for an illiterate person. So also the accent, exactly, the accent means pronunciation. Dialects and syllables also play the same role. Or turn of expression of a single sentence will at once mark a scholar. Only through a sentence or through a paragraph we can come to know about the reality of the speaker, his status when he is speaking. By educated person, that a false accent or mistaken syllable is enough in the parliament of any civilized nation to assign a man a certain degree of inferior standing forever. And in this way, it will be like we are giving a title to an undeserving person. And this is right. But it is really a pity that the accuracy insisted on is not greater and required to a serious purpose. It is right that a false Latin quantity should excite a smile in the House of Commons. This is one of the houses in the Parliament, House of Lords and House of Commons. But it is wrong that a false English meaning should not excite a frown there. Frown means gesture of anger. Let the accent of words be watched by all means, but let the meaning be watched more closely still. Students, what you are speaking may be important, but how you are speaking is more important. How you are speaking means with correct accuracy, with perfect accuracy, with perfect pronunciation, word by word, letter by letter. Then only we can say that a good reading is there. And when can there be a good reading? When good book is there. When can be there good book? When the stuff is good. And when the stuff is good, it means we have really got the proper meaning of the book. A few words well chosen and well distinguished will do work that 1,000 cannot. This is very important, students. Let me repeat it. This is the climax of this is the gist, this is the moral lesson of the chapter. A few words well chosen. If you are choosing only a few words, very little quantity of chosen words is there. But if they are well chosen and well distinguished, they are, so will do work that 1,000 cannot. And this choice of good words, distinguished words, will be more than thousands of words without any perfect choice. When everyone is acting equivocally in the means exactly in the same way in the function of another. Yes, and words, if they are not watched, will do deadly work sometimes. And if what we are speaking is not able to attract the attention of the reader or the audience or the spectators, I think it will be of no use of speaking such words or reading out such book if that is not able to attract the attention, capture the attention of the readers or the audience or the speaker. Okay, students, so I think you might have got this chapter perfectly, and this is very simple. Proper prerequisites of a good book have been mentioned in this chapter. I hope you might have got it. So see you some other day with different topic, different chapter. Till then, have a nice time. Thank you.